So that was good. Oh yeah, big time. Perfect.
Hey guys, Steve Camrad here with ADV Pulse. We just got done riding the new Tiger 900 Rally Pro in Morocco. I'm actually in Arizona, bit of an issue there. I got sick in Morocco and I just couldn't talk.
Yeah. Cut it out.
Yeah.
So no voice there, but Triumph was, kind enough to lend me a bike out here in Arizona to do this thing where I could give you the overview for this bike. And I'm really happy to report that this is a major upgrade for the Tiger itself, the Tiger lineup. Yes, it's a 900, and they're not calling it the Tiger 900 XC or XCA anymore, or XCX. It's now the Tiger Rally or Rally Pro for the off-road model with the 2117 wheel setup. Right off the bat, the new motor is phenomenal. It's a huge upgrade. I mean, I know it only says 10% more horsepower, 10% more torque, but this thing makes a big difference. It just that little displacement bump, and now all of a sudden this motor is just making a lot more power down low, and that's partly because of the new firing order. It's got that 1-3-2 staggered firing order instead of 1-2-3 at 180 degrees like the old Tiger 800 had. This separates them so you have two close firing orders and then one separated by either 90 or 270 degrees, however you want to put it. Triumph's calling it their T-plane firing order. It's the only staggered firing order for a triple ever, as far as anybody can find on Google or in patents. It has to run a new counterbalancer in the motor to compensate for that, but what it does is it really lightens this motor up. They've taken some weight out of the internals, and it just feels really good. Like it spins up pretty quick, but it also just makes really good traction. I know that firing order thing sounds like it might be marketing hype, but you get on the bike and you start asking it to make traction, and it actually drives the bike forward in this really nice, kind of almost violent fashion. It really just puts down the power much better than the old Tiger 800. So the motor's better. Triumph's done a great job with that. It also has all new frame, new steering geometry. It's got a new rake angle on it to make it a little bit more stable off-road. I wish it was a little bit more stable in the front. At 24.4 degrees of rake now instead of 23.4, which the old Tiger had. It's still pretty steep. Most adventure bikes are in that 26 to 28 degree range, and that's what makes the bike feel like it wants the knife edge a little bit. But Triumph's also gone ahead and moved the engine a little bit more forward. That's why it has the new split radiators. It has two radiators in the front, and they've got individual fans to keep the bike cool. And then by moving that motor forward and actually moving it a little bit lower in the frame, it lowers the center of gravity, and it also allows them to extend the swing arm. Now, the longer swing arm, and couple that with, they move the foot pegs back 20 millimeters. So now the bike actually puts more weight on the rear and keeps the front a little bit lighter. And then, it just makes up for some of those things that might attribute to bad handling off-road, and now it actually handles really good. Really confidence-inspiring. It's still not as easy as some of the other bikes, but that's just where some off-road training and learning your bike will really help you out. Don't think you're going to get on this bike and be all of a sudden a Rally Pro. You'll have to put the work in on it, and I think once you do that, this bike will really help you shine. It feels much smaller than the old Tiger 800. That's because of where the gas tank is now. It's a little bit lower in the frame. The airbox is a little bit more compact, so it frees the bike up. It actually feels like it's almost 10% smaller, even though it got a 100cc displacement bump. And with that 100cc displacement bump, the bike really likes living in a lower RPM. So couple that with the transmission, which still runs the same ratios according to Triumph in first, second, third, and fourth. But fifth and sixth are even more overdrive now, which is cool because, having an overdrive bike going down the highway, it's less frantic. This bike actually only spins up at about 5,500 RPMs, doing even 90 miles an hour. So that's nice to keep the buzz down through the bars. The engine's still super smooth. Some people said that they didn't like the buzz through the bars. That really only comes alive at like 7,000 RPMs, maybe even up to 7,500. It gets a little buzzy, but I mean, you'd be flying at that pace or you were asking a whole lot from the bike, and that's just kind of normal. That'll be the feedback you get. Going down the highway on this bike, it feels really good. It's definitely gotten a little bit more mature for the sport tour or adventure touring kind of crowd with that transmission. It also has a shifter assist on it, so you don't have to clutch up or down. It'll blip the throttle on downshifts, and it'll kill the throttle on upshifts. Really nice feature for, you know, on road. You save a little bit of energy there, and you can kind of ride a little bit longer. But also, what it'll do is off road, you'll be able to get some downshifts done without clutching and worrying about rev matching. So maybe you come into a turn a little too hot, and you've got to get, you know, from third down to second or down to first even. You can do that by just pressing on the shifter and getting those shifts done, and then you can carry on down the trail, as opposed to like if you stall out because you're overwhelmed, well, you'll have that tip over. So it'll help you actually look a little bit like you know what you're doing a little bit more. Inside the cockpit, like I said, it feels smaller. The new handlebars have a nicer, just more visually appealing bend to them. I like the way they feel. Some people are going to want to run out and buy bar risers. I'm not that type of person. I like them low because when you do hill climbs, it keeps the bars low so you can kind of pull up on them and get the right body position. And along with that, those foot pegs being moved back, I don't know, it just kind of goes down trail standing up really well. Now, you know, it's at a little bit more aggressive pace. If you just kind of want to putz around on the trail, yeah, get some bar risers maybe. But if you want to go a little bit more aggressively, this puts you in the right position for it. At least I feel at you know, 6'2" and 220 pounds. Speaking of weight wise and suspension and everything, it's got all new Showa suspension units, which are adjustable for preload in the front and the rear, and then compression and rebound damping on the front and rebound on the rear. The adjustable preload on the front is new, and the front forks are really plush. I hit a couple like little things that I thought might be a jump for a pitcher or something, and then I actually thought the bike didn't leave the ground. And then you go back and look at pictures, you're 3, 4, 5 inches, nothing crazy, but you're off the ground. And this bike does a really good job of soaking that up. Just really important stuff there. It makes the bike easier to ride, more confidence inspiring, and it just kind of goes down the road really, or down the trail really well. That rear suspension is still a linkage suspension, so when you kind of compress it, it increases the forces on the shock, so it feels real nice and firm and planted, and it kind of stays where you put it, as opposed to, like, you know, having a big rebound out of the rear like the old Tiger kind of exhibited. This mitigates that quite a bit. Really impressive there with the whole suspension and everything. It's got an all new removable subframe, rear subframe, and the foot pegs are finally removable. So you can take those off for off-road riding. Trying to remove them when we were in Morocco off the back of the Rally Pros, and it was phenomenal. Really great stuff. They get out of the way. The bike just feels like it's even smaller and it's even more out of the way. And that's just really great to have on this bike. Along with the tubeless front and rear wheels, Triumph's added those for the Tiger 900 Rally Pro. We ran our tires down to 22 PSI in Morocco, which I thought was a little daring on Triumph's part. Turns out nobody got any flats, no issues. I'm pretty good at smashing rims in, so these rims are particularly strong. And then, you know, we had pretty serious off-road tires on them in Morocco, so we were able to exploit this bike and push it pretty hard, and it hooks up really well, and everything gets predictable. Now, jumping into the rider modes, the Rally doesn't come with Rally Pro as a rider mode, but the Rally Pro comes with Rally Pro. And so you're able to go into the menu. You could dial in like sport mode for the traction map, which is really aggressive, but the off-road map on this bike is actually really nice. It doesn't have that hesitation that early off-road throttle position or throttle maps used to have. It's still really responsive, and it's really nice. You can still do wheelies with it and stuff, and it's really responsive, but it's not that really twitchiness of a sport mode, which I used to like on the older Tigers. Jumping into the menu on the dashboard, it's got a big 7-inch LCD display. Really easy to use. You don't have to read the owner's manual. You can adjust all your settings, all your preferences and stuff. Triumph's actually even implemented a way to hook up your phone and your navigation on this dashboard. It's all really intuitive. It's going to be really, really good. If you're not the type to do that, that's fine. But like if you kind of want to try it out, it sets up pretty quick and easy. You link your phone, control your music, control your navigation. Just really impressive stuff that, you know, that's what's going to be coming in the future anyway with motorcycles is we're going to be hooking our phones, we're going to be running apps on our Triumphs, and that's just going to be what it is. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing, and I'm glad that Triumph's one of the early adapters of it. The Rally Pro also comes with heated grips, heated seats, you know, crash bars, that quick shifter that the regular Rally doesn't come with, but you can add it on later. Really just a lot of nice features. It comes with a good skid plate on it. It's all mounted new. It's got some more solid mounting points. One of the weak points of the old Tiger 800 was the rubber mounts underneath that sucker. It was pretty just not good. You know, I've ripped off quite a few skid plates. I've actually broken a few oil pans. Ah, damn it. This is not good. All right, let's go. Speaking of the oil pan, Triumph's actually taken some of the depth out of it. You lose a little capacity. It's fine on adventure bikes. They have like 3.5 liters of oil in them anyway. But it gives you more ground clearance. Also, it lets the suspension handle all the bump stops. So when you bottom this bike out, it actually bottoms out on the suspension rather than the oil pan like the old Tiger did. It just seems like they got a lot more dirt focused on this bike, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Actually really impressed. It seems like Triumph has really listened to customer problems. Like, you know, now you can get to the air filter in about 8 bolts as opposed to removing the gas tank. It's just a little cartridge. You take off the seat, pull the bolts, slap in the new air filter, and you're done. That takes what was, you know, a couple hour job to do your first time. It could take you 5 hours. You'd have to take off all the gas tank and everything else in the beak. Now the Tiger 900 is just a quick cartridge air filter and you're done. Yeah, just great stuff from them. So it's all those same really nice features, really premium feeling bike from Triumph, just that much better. I wrote a really great article for ADV Pulse, so I'm going to link that below. It goes in depth more into specs and some of the other features and some of the ways this bike handles. So if you know, I didn't answer something here, you're thinking about buying this bike, go read that really long article I wrote. I mean, you're going to spend $16,700 on a Rally Pro. Take 10 minutes, read the article, and then if there's anything else there that I didn't answer for you, you can comment below in this video, or you can comment on the ADV Pulse page, and I'll actually get back to you. So I hope this helps you guys out, and I hope to see you guys out there riding whatever bike you're on. Yeah, so there you go. Whew, I'm tired. Oh, one last thing. People are going to ask me to compare this to other bikes. It's smaller than the KTM 1090. It's faster than the F850 and a much better street bike than the F850. It's going to be a little harder to ride than the off-road than the F850. Yamaha T7, don't know when that's coming out, so I haven't ridden one. Maybe 2037 when they finally get here, we'll be able to do something like that. The Africa Twin, super easy bike to ride, really a lot of fun. Does not have the motor, does not have the suspension, does not have the brakes that this bike has. BMW R1250 GS, completely different bike. Huge, massive bike. Best thing for carrying 100 pounds of gear into the woods. This bike might be more like a 60, 70 pound kind of get all your gear back in the woods bike. But yeah, just on a different plane. So really, if you want me to compare any bikes, you know, or like a feelings, you know, I like to compare bikes, you know, right side by side, because you know that's how you should really do it. But if you ask yourself, hey, what you want to do with your adventure bike, or what you're actually going to do with it, and you really, you know, kind of chime in on that, if you drop me a line on that, I'll try to help steer you in the right direction. But if it was my personal money and I was going to buy another adventure bike, because I have that Scrambler, Triumph Scrambler 1200 XE, but if I was going to buy an adventure bike today, it would be a Tiger 900 Rally Pro. So maybe that'll speak to you there, but that's just me. That's what I would buy. tired.
The hood that's in here, it's like a neck brace fitting my helmet. I hope you have your feet on the ground. Hold on, wait a minute. Let me turn the GoPro on.
One last